I think that the first order of business is always selecting an exchange where you're going to trade. It really depends on where you are in the world, and it really depends on your abilities to access different exchanges. And also it depends on whether you want to go a centralized route where you trust your money to the exchange and you deposit your money into the exchange. And if in case something happens, you are risking to lose that money, or if you want to go the decentralized route, you want to have self-custody, which means that you always retain total control over your assets, you remain private, anonymous, etc. For me personally, I always choose to remain private, I always choose to remain anonymous, and I always choose to have total control over my assets without the sacrifice of user interface and user interface friendliness. So for this, what I can suggest is Evedex. It's one of biggest pioneers in DeFi space right now. It has the ultimate all-in-one DEX experience. So it's like any big centralized exchange, but you're not trusting your funds to the exchange. It is all on the blockchain, and it is a lot safer in this way, and it's also cheaper, and it is also a lot more fun. But I'm going to show you different perks as well as we go, something that can really boost your trading experience, save you money, and that's something that a lot of people really miss out on. So this is something that I can suggest, and also Evedex is the only decentralized exchange, hybrid model nature of an exchange, which you don't need to really understand what it is. It also has a mobile app. Depending on where you are in the world, the mobile app is actually, so full trading privacy can be in your phone. So you can go and actually download it. And it was also audited. It's smart contracts in the blockchain. It has been audited by HashX and Certec. So it has been fully checked and audited, and it has the entire ecosystem of a big exchange, such as debit cards coming up and copy trading, and a big academy, OTC desk, down the road, AI trading, and really cool stuff. So now let's get into this. All you gotta do is really go to evedex.com, or you can also use the link down in the description of this video, which is an extra bonus for you in that link. If you sign up with that link, it's going to give you a 10% cash back on your trading fees. So when you're trading on any exchange, you're paying a commission, and Evedex, with the link of this channel, you can actually get a 10% cash back that you go to assets, which I'm going to show you, and you claim that cash back every single day in real money that you can withdraw or use for your trading. So it's one of the best ways to really save money on fees. So you just click start trading, and here you will be taken directly to the trading terminal itself. All you gotta do is click login, or if you're gonna use the link in the description of this video, it's gonna prompt you to sign up. The easiest way is going to be from your computer, but you can also do this from your phone. I would always suggest really trading from a computer is going to be a lot more convenient, and you can really get a lot more from the experience itself. So here, since it's a decentralized exchange, it's a new generation type of an exchange, there are many ways how you can sign up. If you're more advanced, which if you're watching this video, probably you're not, but if you are, you can actually use your MetaMask, you can use Rebby wallet, which usually works a lot better than MetaMask, and 100 different wallets, such as even Ledger, that you can plug into the computer and trade from your Ledger directly, which is pretty incredible. No centralized exchange would ever support something like this. But if you wanted to simply use your email, your Google account, your Apple account, that's why I love Evedex, because they're so user-friendly, even this being a decentralized exchange. So again, more private, anonymous, and lets the users to have full control over their assets. So you can just sign up with your email. Let's say Thomas Crowlow. I created a separate account for this video, cc@gmail.com. You simply click login, and if you don't have an account yet, it will prompt you to actually put in your secret code, which goes to your email during your sign up. So it is, in my case, this is right here, putting this in, and you're basically in. You're registered. Congratulations. Welcome to Evedex. And that's it. You're basically in just like that. So your account is ready. It is one of the most incredible ways to trade in a decentralized way, and this is all it takes to create an account. Then when you go to your assets, you will see your account right here. You have your smart account and your wallet account. However, do not deposit your money to this account. I'll show you how to make a deposit. So there is a button here which says deposit. So all you do is you click deposit, and then you're gonna have 3 ways of depositing. You can actually deposit from another exchange. So you can deposit from Bybit, Binance, BitGet, OKX, or really any other exchange. And there are very straightforward instructions of how to do it. You can also deposit from a wallet, so you can connect your wallet, as I told you before, and deposit from there. And you can buy from card. Depending on where you are in the world, you can actually buy crypto in a decentralized way using your credit card or your debit card. And you can even pay with, I believe, Apple Pay. There's Apple Pay, credit card, bank, SEPA bank transfer, and so many other options if you really don't have any crypto, and it will actually land in your Evedex wallet, which if you didn't use your wallet to sign up with Evedex, you've used email like I did, you just generated your own decentralized self-custodial wallet on Evedex, which is pretty incredible if you ask me. But it's very straightforward. You just basically pay with euro, you can pay with whatever currency here, you select which provider you want to use, Guardian, Stripe, really a topper, so many different ones. It depends on the region where you're from. In my case, I will use simply the deposit function, and I will use my transit wallet, which is right here. This is where you will find your address for your wallet. This is the only address you should be sending money to inside Evedex, because otherwise the money could be lost. So therefore, always follow the deposit instructions. So let me do this and deposit some money into it, and we'll take it from there. So I've just made a deposit from another exchange. Now all I gotta do is go to assets and wait for the money to land. It usually takes just a couple of minutes, or sometimes even a couple of seconds. And there you go. So my deposit of 5,000 has just landed. So in order for us to trade, first, before we talk about all the technicalities of the platform, so you understand what the candlesticks are, what the price action is, what indicators are, and how to read all of this, which seems like a very complicated rocket science, we need to understand how to actually even start trading, because you cannot start trading right now simply because your trading balance, your available balance, is 0. Your smart account has 5,000. But for you to place a trade, you need to transfer assets from your smart account to your trading account. So you click maximum or however much you would like to transfer, and you simply click transfer. Once you've done this from your smart account in your trading account, you will be ready and see, good job, you've claimed your reward, you finished the mission, first blink, 300 XP is waiting for you. So one of another reasons why I really enjoy trading on Evedex is because you receive bonuses and benefits from literally everything you do. Now, about the actual trading terminal itself, it's pretty straightforward. Here we have the selection of the coins that are actually available on the exchange. So here you can actually select which coin you would like to trade and which you would like to analyze. We can stick, for example, I really like Ethereum. So for example, let's stick with Ethereum. In this instance, so this is basically the selector. Here you have some details in terms of the data about the selected coin. Then here you have the time frames. So if you want to see what kind of a time frame, how much time does it take for one candle to fully start and finish and move on to the next candle. So bigger the time frame, the more time it is basically inside the window itself. Here, for example, you will see a price action in the daily chart for the last couple of months, and in a weekly chart even more than that. Going forward, here you will see, and we're going to move to the candlestick analysis in just a second, so I'll explain what candlesticks are. First, we'll just talk about the platform itself. Here you will see, again, custom time frames, so you can actually select and customize your layout in terms of the time frames you want to see and you want to use. Me personally, I usually use 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily and weekly. Everything else like 1 second is pretty useless, 30 minute is pretty useless, and then 1 month monthly is also pretty useless, quite frankly, at least at the beginner level. Then you have indicators. Here you can add different things like relative strength index, RSI. That's something we're going to discuss today as well. Then there are also other tools, so you can have your order history so that you actually make sure that you see where you've taken your trades. Then here you can actually select if you want to see candlesticks, line, area, holo candles. But I don't know if you need any of this. It's normally just usual Japanese candles, and that's about it. Here in indicators, on the chart itself, you have moving averages that some people use, but in my opinion, they're not as useful as many people think, so I just tend to keep my chart a lot cleaner. Then going forward, you also have a full-on chart where you can do a lot of drawings. So you will have your indicators such as volume, relative strength index, and here on the left you will have your tools for technical analysis. So for example, if you want to draw some kind of a support level, you can do it like this, just with a straight line. Then you have different types of lines. You have rays, you have a horizontal line, so it's going to be just a straight line. You don't need to try to measure it in any direct special way. Then you have different ways to really draw lines. Then you have, for example, Fibonacci retracement and a shit ton of other stuff, which basically is something we're gonna also discuss today with different features and functions that, in my opinion, some of them are useless and some of them are pretty useful. Then going forward, you have different shapes and you have the actual highlighter itself, where you, if you want to highlight certain stuff and write something, which is not very easy to do. If you want to write something, there is this button here, and it's a lot easier to actually write something and add text to your chart. So it's pretty simple. It's just for basic direct note taking, and also some smiley faces. If you wanted to add those, you can also add some emojis and happiness if you've made some money. Going forward, there are quite a few things, such as, for example, the eye. If you have a drawing on a chart, you have the eye that you can just remove all the drawings and look at the clear, beautiful picture of your chart. Then certainly you have this right here, the lock, which locks up all the charts simultaneously. That is mostly used for multi-chart analysis. And then there is the magnet, which basically, if you want to draw a line, it will always stick to the high or the body of the candle. So that you don't need to find it manually. You basically just use the magnet and it sticks to a certain area of where you want to push it, like from one high to the other high of a candle. So this is the basic understanding of the layout. Now, what is worth noting that there is the button automatic and then there is the button logarithmic, which these are two different charts. It especially is evident if you're doing analysis and, for example, you're drawing a certain price level, for example, in Ethereum, and let's say you put it like this. Let me turn the magnet off. If you have a long enough time frame, if you use logarithmic in your chart, then it might look slightly different, and the levels, even though it looks very similar, in a smaller time frame, those levels can be different. Now the question is what you should be using. Should you be using logarithmic, or should you actually be using linear? And it really comes down to personal preference, but when it comes to the reaction to the levels of the price when somebody's trading, I would probably say that logarithmic is more important for bigger levels, and then regular one is actually a bit more used by traders in a short-term perspective. But in any case, you can use either both or just one of them at the very beginning. You don't need to concern yourself with this at this point. Now let's leave the chart for a second and let me just give you an overview of what else is in here. And down here, these buttons will actually help you change the intervals that you have. So this is something that nobody really uses much. Down here you have positions, you have open orders, you have your order history, and then you have your trade history, which is where all of your trades and all of your trading history will actually appear. Then you have the order book. This is basically the orders for longing and for shorting, and mostly the limit orders of other traders. This is something that could be useful in a long-term perspective for active trading, but quite frankly, or for just easiness of use. But to be honest, it is just a visual. I don't really know too many people, especially at the beginner level, that really use the order book to place orders unless they're very advanced. And now this window on the right here, this is the place where you're going to be placing your trade. So for example, you have market order, you have limit order, and stop limit. Market order is when you're buying an asset by the market order. So you basically buy it at the current market price. With a limit order, so it would execute immediately. With a limit order, you can actually place a price at which you would like to buy a certain asset. So for example, if you take limit order, and let's say you want to long Ethereum from, let's say, $3,620. $3,620. And let's say you want to long $10,000 worth of Ethereum. You click buy long, and in this instance, the order is going to be placed right here. So as soon as the price comes to this level, it will be triggered and the trade will be directly executed. However, if you want to, for example, place a market order, this is going to be a different story. So a market order is when you're executing the trade immediately. So as an example, let's try it out. You go for, let's say, $5,000 in Ethereum, and you click buy right from the market price. You click buy, and the trade will be executed immediately. So you will see it pop up immediately. And we have another reward. And actually can go into our account here. And just in case, we can actually level up and we can get this reward. And actually, we should get to level 2 right now. And boom, we just went to level 2, our referral fee increased, and our cashback increased. And we can go to skills. We need 3 more skill points to unlock the trader and get ourselves another 1% to cashback.